Inter-governmental service agreement with Dimmit County and ICE for DA family residential facility at the studios at Carrizo. Okay, after that item, we'll entertain the public comment section so that you all can have any comments that you wish to tell the court. And it's not going to be a discussion, it's going to be a comment. Okay? It's not going to be a discussion like the one we had here with Mr. Taylor. It's going to be a comment. And that's the way the law reads. We cannot respond. All we do is receive the comment. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to have our attorneys answer any questions you might have. We're going to have the person that represents for business solution. He's here to respond to any questions that you might have. We went through, I received a lot of information of the questions and concerns that some of the general public had. And a lot of those questions and concerns were the same ones that we had. Last Commissioner's Court meeting, we received some information, not that much, because I wanted to make sure that the general public knew about what was going on. And I was very sure the way our citizens are in Dimmit County, that once this got on the agenda, we were going to have this type of response. Because every time something like this happens, we had this type of response, which is a good thing for the county residents to be involved. We are all about transparency. I got accused of trying to hide it. I got accused of, but what you be here so you can ask any questions you might have. That's the purpose of us putting it on this agenda. Unfortunately, our boardroom is not big enough to accommodate all our citizens, and that's one of the reasons we're doing the bigger auditorium. Okay, we're going to have the gentleman that's here to represent the Court Business Solutions. Taylor? Yes. Mr. Taylor, the person that represents Taylor? All right, gentlemen, if you all come, and I don't care if you be in your backs, if you will address the public and tell them exactly what it is that you told us last time and what this, what are the plans, who are we housing, how it works, and all these things that you told us last time. The financial aspects of it, I'm not too worried about it. I just need to let the public know that we're in negotiations. We decided that we're going to move forward. The negotiations is possibly the government making up to $500,000 out of this on a year. We don't know. We still have not discussed none of this. That's just the preliminary figures that we got. So you'll start by telling us what the idea behind this is, how people are going to be housed, and what. One of the main concerns that I heard was where these people are from, and there's a misconception that there's a lot of criminals and things of that sort. All those issues that you can explore will be appreciated. And you'll state your name, sir, so that you can put it for the record.
My name is Dan Stratton. There may have been a little bit of confusion. We're not with the Corps.
Okay.
My name is Dan Stratton. I'm the owner of the studios at Carrizo Springs. These are our partners not only at Carrizo Springs oil facility, I think they represent from Taylor through Mr. Barry Johnson and Jamie Carpenter. Our real purpose here is to educate not only the court, but each of you. Obviously, this is an important issue to everyone, but I think if you don't understand the truth, if you read things on the internet and you read, there are humanitarian rights groups that are going to portray it one way, and I've heard rumors about Syrians and all types of things. So my purpose in being here is try and explain what it is we're trying to do and what it means to this community, as well as the entire county of Dimmit. The federal government has a need to establish a family residential facility. I didn't say detention facility, I said facility. What it means is that, and they need a government partner. It can be anyone. It can be any government entity. It could be the city of Carrizo Springs. It could be the sheriff's department in Carrizo Springs. It can be Dimmit County. We've chosen the county because this impacts everyone in the county. The people that run this facility are part of this intergovernmental service agreement are Dimmit County, me as owner of the facility, tailors who provide the food services, maintenance, and housekeeping in the facility, and a licensed state child care provider. I didn't want to mention the word detention, and yet that is probably the biggest issue. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The immigrants that come to this facility have already been vetted. What it means is they've already been checked out. 85% of them are women and children. They've all been checked. They have no criminal backgrounds. Rather, they're escaping violence. They're trying to come to America as many as us did in the past. And so, the next question is, what kind of an environment are they going into? Why did they pick the studios in Carrizo Springs? They picked it because it's a nice facility. They picked it because it's near the border. They picked it because it's close to different airports and major cities. They picked it because it's an ideal location for Spanish-speaking and English-speaking folks. More than 51% is a requirement. More than 51% of the folks who work or might work at this facility have to be bilingual. English and Spanish, not Arabic. There are no Syrians coming to this facility. Number two, what's in the facility? Well, it's a nice facility. There's nice bedrooms. There's a dining facility that can feed 1,000 folks. There's basketball. There's horseshoe pits. There will be classrooms. Why? Because they don't go to school in your schools. They go to school in the schools on the camp. Can they leave the camp? No. No. They cannot leave the camp. I think it's probably the biggest issue. Are they going to invade our community? Are they going to take our jobs? Are they going to run around and murder people? No. I heard issues about, hey, the Syrians. I've already gone over that. There are no Syrians. Taxes. I heard something on, saw something on the internet. Our taxes are going to be raised. On the contrary, your taxes will come down. This is a $50 million a year contract, folks. Where is that money going to come from? It comes from the federal government. It comes into this community. I've been here for 5 years. I've given money to support different events. I've sponsored rodeo events. I worked with Paul Sagal and the Chamber of Commerce. Taylor's has provided food for free for your 4th of July events. To raise money, we gave you the scholarship. We housed 5 deputies for the last 2 years for free on our facility. We're part of this community. The last thing we're here to do is destroy it. The last thing we're doing is to try and hurt you. One of the other things is, if we do, and by the way, this is simply a bid. We may or may not win. And if we do win, it's a 5-year contract. It's actually 1 year with 4 one-year options. So how long would they be here? Maybe a year? Maybe 5 years? I don't know. But what I do know is this. We need jobs. We need people. This is, under this contract, minimum federal wage has to be paid. You know what the minimum, the cheapest, the lowest paid employee at this facility is $14.53 an hour. I don't make that up. That's federal government regs. That's how much the person who comes and works as a maintenance worker would get if they come to this facility. If we're awarded it, we'll have a job fair specifically in Carrizo Springs. We need 8,400 bodies. We can't fill them all from here, but we can fill whatever you have to offer, whatever you can come in and be employed for. We welcome you. We need you. It saves us. It saves the federal government and you as taxpayer money. We don't have to pay per diem wages. Folks coming from Laredo or San Antonio or whatever. We want to provide jobs here. I go through your community, folks. Your gas stations are slow. Your hotels are empty. Your grocery stores are empty. I have a facility. I'm starving. We're shut down. We're not abandoned. We're shut down. It was good 4 or 5 years ago. It's not good now. I'm trying to offer something that is good not only just for this community, but also for the human rights group. What does that mean? These folks have already been vetted. They can't go into the community until they're approved, until they've had their court cases heard. They have to be heard by lawyers. There are counselors within this facility to hear them. No one is going to be released from this committee until that's been approved. Trying to propose a solution that is good for your community as well as for the folks who are opposing it, as well as for the human rights groups that are opposing it. Trying to provide a solution that for the first time, they're detained, but they're not in a detention-like environment. Our fences do not have barbed wires on them. Our windows don't have bars on them. There are guns, but they're not guns that children and women are going to see. I'm humbly asking for your support in this. That's the best I can do.
Thanks, sir. I'm going to introduce to you my attorney, the county attorney, that represents us in this matter. His name is Mr. Ramos. And he's going to tell you all we have an option to decline to do so what we want. What we don't want to happen is what happened to you. And we don't want
Good morning. Thank you. May I please report? Good morning, everybody. My name is Leonardo Ramos Jr. I'm an attorney from Laredo, Texas. I've done some work on behalf of different South Texas counties, and I was recently contracted by the Dimmit County to assist in this matter. And on Friday, it's all happened pretty quickly in terms of my involvement. I spoke on the phone with these gentlemen, and I had questions regarding the option. What if Dimmit County, for whatever the reason, decides not to proceed in this sort of agreement? And there's a couple of examples we can look at to see what happens. There's a facility that's not, again, I'm not an expert in facilities, but there's a facility in Dilley that y'all may have heard of. And in Dilley, I think they call that a detention facility, which apparently is very different than what would happen here in Dimmit County. But what's interesting about that facility in Dilley is that the contract with the federal government is not with the Frio County or with the city of Dimmit. It's actually with a county in Arizona, Eloy, Arizona, or something along those lines. And what's kind of weird and operative, in my opinion, is that in that case you have a governmental entity that's not local, that's not Dilley, that's not Frio County, that is coming in and is on that contract with the federal government. So my question here on behalf of Dimmit County, my client in this particular matter, is, well, what if Dimmit says no? Is there a potential of these gentlemen and their companies perhaps going to another governmental entity, whether it's nearby, a neighboring county, a neighboring city, another local entity, or, in my opinion, an even more strange scenario would be that of, similar to Dilley, could they go outside of Texas and get a governmental entity from another state to come in? And I'm currently looking into the legalities of all of that. But it is their current position that if Dimmit County does, or Dimmit County in this case, does not agree to some sort of reasonable agreement on terms, and we really haven't gotten into it, but I think that there's certainly a good possibility, they're reasonable, that we could reach an agreement. But if Dimmit did not reach an agreement on legal terms, they do have the option, their position is, to go to another governmental entity somewhere else, let's just use the example of Dilley, Arizona, New Mexico, or otherwise, to reach this same agreement. And my concern on behalf of Dimmit County is if this facility is going to happen in Dimmit County, then I think it's in the best interest of the county and its residents to have some involvement in what's going to be going on here, rather than having a situation such as that in Dilley, where the mayor, there's been some media where the mayor said, look, here we are in Dilley, that's one good money that could come to our county and to our residents that could help. It would create jobs, but we don't have a voice in what's actually going on in the facility because we are not on the contract. So from a legal standpoint and a community standpoint, one thing that I have advised the board and the judge is that we got to think about the alternative, which is, and again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with their ability to do that, but assuming that their position is correct, if Dimmit County does not agree to cooperate in this contract, there is still the potential that these companies could contract with another governmental entity, it's their position, to get to the same place. And then Dimmit County and its residents would not have nearly the type of voice in that contract because they would not be involved in the contract itself. So I just think that's something that needs to be considered in these circumstances.
Excuse me. All comments, we're going to take them down the list. So we're going to give everybody the opportunity that has something to add, that they need to know, that they need to hear from this gentleman, the applicant. But right now, it's a discussion for the table, so the only ones asking questions right now is going to be the commission.
How can somebody from outside the state come into our state and do it, agreement with whoever, not without our approval?
Commissioner, that is my exact concern, and like I said, I just got involved in this. I'm not agreeing with their position. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it happened in this. It happened in Frio County, where there was this county, but was it the county or city of Eloy? The city of Eloy, in that case, yeah, it's a federal contract. This is a federal contract, so the federal requirements are just that it be a, quote, governmental entity. And again, I haven't gotten into the intricacies of this, but so in Dilley, the entity, was that Geo Group?
It was CCA, Corrections Corporation of America.
So in Dilley, and there's been a lot of publicity on this, Commissioner, because that was my exact reaction, is how can something like that even happen? But apparently in Dilley, the wording was sufficient to allow the city of Eloy with CCA or whomever to have that exact situation happen. And in fact, the mayor of the city of Dilley had that, he's noticing that how could this happen? Why is this Arizona County receiving this money that could have been kept in our community? So I'm not agreeing with them again, but that is what has happened, and I understand that's a different facility, but that is the current position that these gentlemen have taken.
Can I please say something?
Mr. Taylor, how long, what were you? Mr. Scratch, how long were you aware of this contract that was coming out prior to letting us know that your deadline was July 15th?
1 week.
Prior to us getting the information?
I had a request from the government for information. 3 weeks passed, I got a formal request to form an intergovernmental service agreement with the local government. It was a week and 10 days.
How many times did you meet with the Department of Homeland Security or ICE concerning this? How many times have you met with them?
Can you speak up, please, sir? I cannot hear.
My question is, how many times did Mr. Stratton meet with the Department of Homeland Security or ICE concerning this matter?
The answer is I've never met with them. I've corresponded with them for the last 2 years. Homeland Security came in They want to use your facility as a detention center to house immigrants. For a number of reasons, many to do with the infrastructure, Dilly was chosen instead. I negotiated with ICE for 5 or 6 weeks for that facility. They're so interesting, none of you do that. I have choices for counties. It doesn't even have to be a county, it can be a city, it can be here for Dimmit County folks.
Mr. Shannon, are you aware that a district judge ruled last summer that the presidential administration of Obama has a policy that violates their 18-year-old court settlement regarding the detention of migrant children? Are you aware of that?
I was not, again, I just got involved, but I'd like to see that.
The judge ordered,
I am aware of it.
the judge ordered the government to release the families by October of last year, and the government has not complied. You would face some kind of liability with that court.
Commissioner, there are absolutely legal issues and concerns and liabilities, whether it's contractual, to get into discussing all of that with them since I just got involved. But yes, these are all issues and questions that need to be addressed.
Something else I'd also like to point out is that the two presidential candidates, that whoever is going to be put in office next year, are both against these detention centers in the country. I don't know if y'all are aware of that.
Again, sir, this is not a detention center.
Well, it's family housing units even.
It is family housing, but there's no detention being involved in running this facility.
I understand that, sir, but both presidential candidates that are now running for office are against these kind of family housing units for immigrants. So come January, there might not be any federal funding available for any of these family housing units.
That's true also.
And you intend to start it approved October the 1st, October, November, December, 3 months, January, 3.5 months, and no federal money, and you're out of business as far as a family housing unit is concerned in Dimmit County or anywhere else in the country. Something else to consider.
Yes, sir, thank you. One of the questions that our firm had, as well as the firms competing with and against me, was exactly that question. And the government answered it this way. They would provide funding up front for at least the 1-year period of time. So that would be guaranteed under any conditions.
I think one of the concerns that we have, or I have the most, is security around the facility. Being that, I don't know the guards that you have there are going to be armed or not, but we're under the understanding that, or I'm under the understanding that you say that there's not going to be absolutely no living of the facility, but how would that be monitored?
Well, there are armed guards, sir. There are
Well, I
armed guards.
understand you say some guards, we're looking at how many are you looking at? And are they going to be posted in certain areas? How big is this facility?
The facility is 27 acres with an additional, there's land surrounding it of approximately another 40 acres. That area is not developed, but both of those
What's the ratio between the families to the guard?
Obviously, the Homeland Security has guidelines as to how many per capita or per residence that required. So we'll be within their guidelines. But there's guards. There are guards that will be stationed on the internal facility to interact with the residents, and then there'll be exterior guards to maintain the perimeter fence to make sure that nobody comes or goes, and that all visitors and visitations, there has to be inspections before they arrive.
So there's visitors that people go in?
I'm sorry, sir?
There are visitors that people go in?
Well, that'll be ICE officials or Homeland Security officials, so anybody that enters the facility will have to go through inspection and make sure that they're not bringing any kind
liable if there's any law enforcement?
I'm sorry?
Who's liable if there's any law enforcement? Because we noticed that even within the law, there's law enforcement within the same jurisdiction.
Those are issues we have that.
Well, I mean, that's my concern.
Yeah,
Will you be liable?
the county and the city would be identified by us, so there would be no legal responsibility that would fall on the city or the county. It would remain solely on the operators of the camp and the official government.
If I could say this also, please. I own another 19 acres. I bought it from sorry, very nice lady. It's on the corner of Vanderbilt and Highway 83. Yes, Carmen John, I'm sorry, thank you. We cleared that land, you know what we found? We found camps where immigrants coming up across the border, that's where they were camping on my land. This facility, folks, 85% women and children, 17 and under. They've already been checked out. Some are going to stay 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and move on. The other option is just let them all free everywhere. They broke the law. I don't make the law. I'm just simply trying to humanitarian way, give these folks a place to stay.
Sir, Mr. Stratton, I have another question. Is your septic sewer system able to accommodate the 500 to 1,500 people that you are expecting?
Right now, we have a sewer system that accommodates 500. In public, we've already applied. This has been in the works for actually, wasn't done by me, it was done by my landlord. Signor Group has already applied and approved. We're waiting for TxDOT to give final approval to an additional 500 that's been approved for public sewer.
How are you going to do that? Through
Whatever permits, I didn't get the permits, but it's done with the city of Carrizo Springs. Lift stations are being put in, plans are being made to run the pipes to, it's just about less than a quarter mile down from Munson Road.
who's putting in the lift stations?
Pardon me?
Who is putting in the lift stations?
An engineer, I'm not sure, but
I don't believe that's happening, sir, because
well, I have the permits. I'd be happy to
you have
provide those.
to go through the Carrizo Hill water system, sewer system, they will do that.
Yes, we made an application for that. It's in process. That's already been approved by the city and Carrizo, and it's already.
That's not true. You have to get approval from the Carrizo Hill Water Board and able to go through their system to come into the city for sewer. And have you met with the Carrizo Springs?
I have not.
Or the Carrizo Hill water system?
I have not, but Signor Group, I have a proposal from them, and they have, it's already gone to TxDOT, so I don't know how we get to TxDOT. It's been with TxDOT for 45 days.
Sir, I talked to the chairman of the Carrizo Hill Water District, and he talked to Mr. Signor. Mr. Signor was not even aware of this proposition, this proposal going on to house.
That may very well be. He has told me about a good thing because he told me that it's been blessed by Carrizo Hill and that they're in fact working with the state to get the pipes put in.
I don't think it has, is Mike Garza here, Mr. Garza here? Mike Garza? Mr. Garza is the president, the chairman of the Carrizo Hill Water District Board. Have you received it? Has your district received applications from TxDOT to put in the sewer system?
I'm sorry, I'm hard to hear.
Come on up. Has your Carrizo Hill Water District system received notice of applications for a lift stations and a sewer system through TxDOT that has been applied through TxDOT? Are you aware of that?
That permit is on hold at the present time. So the reason being that nobody, that's you, Mr. Stratton, right?
Yes.
Mr. President.
I didn't make application though, sir. My landlord.
No, you're not in application.
Right.
Mr. Plain, signal.
Yes.
But nothing has been agreed on. They have not come to us as to what their intentions are. So at the present time, they're trying to put in a man camp to house between 500 to 1,000 immigrants without yet reaching an agreement with Carrizo Hill. First of all, let's say that we did reach an agreement. Our pumps that are designed to dispose of the sewage to the city of Carrizo were designed for approximately 400 people. But yet here comes this company that is saying, oh, we'll deal with Carrizo Hill and we'll pump 1,000 more people into your system. What does that do to our system? It's undersized. The pumps will be running 24/7. The pumps will be burning out. We have not reached an agreement to oversize or to upgrade.
Okay,
So therefore,
I'm not aware of this. I just made an application. I wouldn't know.
so therefore, we don't have any.
if you work it out, then I would finance that, we would have to pay for that expensive.
They would have to come before us and reach an agreement.
So they haven't even approached you yet concerning this. They haven't approached you that yet concerning this upgrade of the sewer system.
No.
Okay.
We'll get to you, man. We'll get to you. Okay?
The questions that are being asked, are they gonna repeat them, or how are we gonna answer? You guys are answering everything. We're here to answer questions too.
Okay, we're doing the best we can with the facilities we have.
I just want to ask if we're going to see the government funding, is that money going to be put into our city?
Not to the city, no,
To the county?
the county.
Can't hear you.
Guarantee that people get water, they no longer mention out by that I mean Nigerians or whatever, they got their parents, mother and son, will come to your facility also.
Okay, the question is,
The government will, they feel like they're right.
the question is what are the guarantees that no other person from another nationality like Syrians will come into this country?
And the answer is this. We're not set up to deal with Syrians. We don't have translators for Syrians. And now that I realize, excuse me, that it's that important, our proposal will be sent to ICE that specifically says, if you want to use my facility in Carrizo Springs, the government will have to agree not to send any Syrians. That's the best I can do.
Hold on.
There's already, you already know in Amarillo, in Dallas, in Houston, there are already 7 or 8 facilities across Texas to take Syrians specifically. They're set up. They speak the language. We're not set up to do that.
Well, hold on, everybody, like I said, you'll also be given the opportunity to make your comment. This is a discussion that we're having, and I would really appreciate it if you would keep it down. Okay, because it's hard enough to hear. I'll ask, we'll give you the opportunity to answer it. Go ahead.
Mr. Stratton, this is a follow-up question, right here, Stratton, Daniel Gonzalez, County Attorney. I'll follow a question to the Commissioner's question about security. Last time we were in the Commissioner's Court, I had a question about how are we going to prosecute escapees from your facility if it's residential and not a detention? You keep saying it's not a detention facility, but a detentional facility is defined under our Penal Code 107, and if this doesn't comply as a detentional or correctional facility, the sheriff, while we're on board, our sheriff can't even arrest an escapee for that offense. And if he's arrested or prosecuted, we may not even be able to prosecute him as a misdemeanor or a felony if we don't have that cleared up. So you said you would have an answer for us today on that issue. Do you have an answer for us?
No, I do not. May I say this? Ward detention in every detention center. Ward detention is what is Judge Gee for the human rights groups. Judge Gee ruled against detaining women and children. And so the government still has a problem. How do we detain women and children? So this new concept, the concept is they're changing the name from detention center to family residential center. They're taking those immigrants, women and children who are the least likely to hurt anyone, and holding them in a family residential center. There are still guards. There are still guns. But the idea is they don't want a 5-year-old to see a guy walking around with a machine gun on his back or bars on his window. I don't have another answer other than that. I can't tell you if someone escapes how they do process.
We did post a question to ICE and DHS, and they promised us an answer to all of those questions this week. And we'll obviously forward all of those questions and answers to you.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
You're mentioning, we're going away from detention centers to camps, or what's the word we use?
Residential.
Residential. What about their humanitarian rights? How do we classify now? Where we won't have a group coming in and saying that we violated their human rights, and they're not being treated fairly, and where we're not going to have groups coming in that, because they're not going to look at you as your facility running the program. They're going to look at Dimmit County. That's what they're going to look at. Even though they're running the public facility, they're going to see Dimmit County violating human rights toward this individual.
I invite any human rights organization. I'll do all that I can to put an office in the facility for you to occupy daily. You take a look. You let us know. You let the government know. You let the newspapers know. You let this county know. I'll put an office in the facility if ICE will allow it. You can come there daily. What else? I mean, folks, what in the world can I do?
Okay, next order. I will clear this courtroom. Okay? You have the opportunity to give a comment as well. But I will.
Strand, one more question. You mentioned when we were talking to the public that it wouldn't affect our schools, they wouldn't be attending our schools, but that's not exactly what you told us at the last meeting.
You're right. You're right, I'm sorry.
Have you contacted our school board or school district to see how they can meet the needs of maybe special educational needs of some of the children that may be coming to our...
I have not. And I don't know how many folks that would be. It would be minimal if it is. The school, the facility has to have its own classrooms. Each kid has to go to school every day, reading, writing, arithmetic. They have to have an hour of each of that every day. English, but I do not have the answer. We have an answer about it.
Yeah, if it's handled on, kids with special needs are handled on a case-by-case basis, and basically what that would mean is that if the city of Carrizo community couldn't handle the special needs child, obviously ICE would pay for those services, and they would move into a different county or city where they could handle those services. They would transport, mayors of transportation.
Have you inquired whether or not that system, school system in the facility would be a part of our local Carrizo Springs Independent Consolidated School District?
I think it would be a child. I don't know if that would be in Dimmit County or Carrizo or wherever it would be, wherever that, where the needs of that child would be addressed.
Well, my concern is that there's a conflict there because if they're not to leave the facility and they're going to our public schools, or they're going to be armed guards going to our public schools as well.
And they can't leave the facility unless they are under the control of an armed guard. Yes, they would not be. No.
Kids with special needs are handled on a case-by-case basis.
I understand that. And there's some citizens in our community say that probably our school districts aren't doing enough for their kids with special needs. So to accommodate more kids, it's going to be a concern to those parents with special needs kids. But if they can leave the facility, then you'd have to work out some agreement with the school district if it's required under Texas law to educate these people at that facility. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
What is the age of the children that will come in? What ages?
The age is 17 and under, per the agreement.
Anything else, sir? I want to address I had the opportunity to discuss on a one-to-one basis with my attorney, and he asked questions the last time. There's a lot of questions in my mind, a lot of you can't hear me. There's a lot of do's, a lot of don'ts about do we want this facility to come to our community. The questions that I have, and it's very simple. Do we want the economic boost? Yes or no? Do we want the jobs? Yes or no? When the oil boom hit us, before that, I was part of the economic development board. We racked our brains. How are we going to bring an economical boost to Dimmit County? What do we have to offer anybody to come to Dimmit County? And the response we always came back to was, well, nothing very much we can offer anybody to come to Dimmit County. So we were depressed for the longest time. One of our highest rates we ever had, actually, because we couldn't get nobody to come to Dimmit. Then we had this oil. A lot of people saw it as a curse. Saw it as a good thing. Everybody had a job, a good paying job. Of course, we had problems with that Tommy Road. And we had problems with the infrastructure. We had a lot of problems. But my people had a job when they didn't have a our delinquent rate was very high. We don't have that. You have good things. The question is, do the good things far outweigh the bad things? And that's what we're here to look at. Okay? If this facility, the good things that it could bring us, are outweighed by the bad things, well, I don't want it. Because I'm assuming we have like 450 people in this quarter, I would assume. That's a small percentage of the people that elect all of us to these offices. And we're here to determine what is in the best interest of this community. But to get to that point, I have to look at the historical information that we have in the past. We had Ellis Island in New York at the turn of the century. I would bet that some of our people here today came to that facility at that time. We have a lot of immigrants that come here. My parents came across in a wagon in 1915 when we paid a nickel across the bridge. And hence me and my family. We had a detention facility during World War II. Japanese people were housed in Jersey City. Now, I'm afraid that what we're going to do today is going to occur. And we will make that decision. let everybody make a comment. I just wanted to tell you that we're not here, I don't need $500,000. The county doesn't need $500,000. We do not. But then we have to deal with our tax rate going down. You see, I'm finished worried about the tax rate. I'm worried about the tax rate. Because despite what other things, when the taxes go up, guess what? My personal taxes go up. I want to go up. So we have to look for a lot of alternatives. And I don't know what the problem is with everybody not understanding the fact that we're going to get to you. Okay? We're going to let everybody, excuse me, ma'am, we're going to let you say what you need to say. Okay? And we're going to go down the line. I don't need to hear it. We're going to go down the line, and I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to say whatever it is you need to say. Ma'am. And we're going to go down the line. We're going to go down the list. And everybody gets to say what you want to say. So if the consensus of the community here today is we don't want this, I'm your representative. But tomorrow, don't call me and tell me I don't want it. Okay? Because I hear that every single day. We need jobs. Okay? I heard 400 jobs. Oh, okay. So now let's find out what we have to give up for those 400 jobs. Okay? Just like we gave up a lot of things, our strong community. I love Dimmit County. I love Carrizo Springs. I love my community. That's why I'm here. And when this thing happened, we lost our community. We lost a lot of things that we were used to growing up. That's why I stayed. But we have to give those things up for the betterment of the community. And if this is not what we need, what we want, by all means, okay? Give